Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the summer concert of the Classic Legacy Band. We are so happy to have you with us this beautiful summer evening for some great concert band music. Russell T. Alexander was an American composer and contemporary of John Philip Sousa and Henry Fillmore. He wrote in the era when the only time you could hear such music was when one of those great touring bands or a traveling circus performed in your town. During his youth, Russell played with the Belford Carnival, and it was while on tour with this organization that he composed many of his famous marches. He has come to be regarded as one of the greatest composers of circus music and was elected to the Windjammers Hall of Fame in 1978. It is a sad footnote that his widow was penniless and sold the rights to all his competitions to C.L. Barnhouse for a mere $125. The Southerner March is one of Alexander's most popular works. The original unpublished manuscript is currently at the Circus World Museum in Baraboo, Wisconsin. The dedication on the original manuscript was short and sweet. To my wife. Now, please welcome to the stage the director of the Classic Legacy Band, Mr. David Fitz. If you weren't sure the circus was here with that piece, the next piece should leave you with no doubt. The official definition of a clown is a person who performs comedy and arts in a state of open-mindedness using physical comedy, typically while wearing distinct makeup or costuming and reversing folkway norms. The art of portraying a clown is called clowning, an art that takes extensive training and practice and for which there are schools and certifications. There are 11 officially recognized types of clowns that vary in costume, makeup, behavior, and emotional expression. The most widely known is the circus clown, which was developed in the 19th century, and most circus clowns exhibit one of 4 emotions: happy, sad, gentle, and comical. Some clowns talk, others are silent. Big reveal moment. Yours truly earned extra money in college by working with a clown company. Yes, I was Bubbles the clown. Obviously a happy clown, donning a clothing ensemble I collected from a few thrift stores. Did I mention I was in college? And frequenting summer small-town festivals and fairs in upstate New York with my fellow clowns in the Oakwood Theater Company. All this is to say that Frank DeKelly's piece, Portrait of a Clown, really resonates with me. I can say from personal experience that his musical portrait of different emotions displayed by clowns is pretty accurate. Moritz Cornelius Escher is one of the world's most famous graphic artists, known for playing with architecture, perspective, and impossible spaces. Born in the Netherlands, he traveled to Italy and Spain and was fascinated by the mosaic tilings of the Alhambra Castle and the Mezquita of Cordoba. During his lifetime, Escher made more than 2,000 drawings and sketches. In addition to his work as a graphic artist, he illustrated books and designed carpets, banknotes, stamps, and murals. Interestingly, in 1979, author Douglas Hofstadter wrote a Pulitzer Prize-winning book tying together the drawings of Escher and the music of Bach with the mathematical concepts of Kurt Gödel. It compares the artist's work with the contrapuntal style of the composer's fugues. The book is a wonderful exploration of fascinating ideas at the heart of cognitive science. Composer, conductor, and Grammy-nominated music educator Andrew David Perkins wrote this next piece in 2022 as commissioned from the Okemos, Michigan music community in dedication to the teaching career and legacy of Mr. Kevin Culling. Classic Legacy Band trombone player Wesley Ahrens is the soloist in this next piece. Born in 1908, Leroy Anderson was an American composer of short, light concert pieces, many of which were introduced by the Boston Pops Orchestra under the direction of Arthur Fiedler. Famed movie soundtrack composer John Williams described Leroy Anderson as, quote, one of the great American masters of light orchestral music. You're probably familiar with Sleigh Ride and The Typewriter. This next piece features our amazing flute section, so sit back and enjoy the Penny Whistle Song. Anyone who's played or listened to band music is familiar with the works of Australian-born composer Percy Grainger. His Irish tune from County Derry, Molly on the Shore, and Shepherd's Hay are but a few of his most famous works. Grainger was an innovative musician who anticipated many forms of 20th century music well before they became established by other composers. Arrangers often get far less credit than they deserve. Oftentimes, they take settings from one genre and adapt it to fit an instrumentation in another. For example, the work you just heard was originally written for orchestra and arranged for concert band. Later in the program, we will hear an arrangement of a Broadway musical. Other times, arrangers will make a classic piece more accessible for younger performers by rewriting the more technically demanding portions or making something that is easy to perform on the violin playable on the clarinet. The success of a good arrangement is making these adaptations while maintaining the essence of what made a particular work famous in its original context. The arranger of this next piece, and the march you will hear later, is Glenn Cliff Bainham. For most of his career, he served as director of bands at Northwestern University, but he has some Michigan ties. He served as the director of music in Grand Rapids Public Schools and worked for many summers directing bands at Interlochen Music Camp. Here is the arrangement he did in 1970 of Grainger's Australian Upcountry tune. The following story may or may not be somewhat based on facts. Names, dates, and places have been changed to protect the innocent and avoid some lawsuits, and no musical instruments will be harmed in its telling. As legend has it, long ago, before the Classic Legacy Band was even called Classic, in preparation for their annual holiday concert, somehow the music got mixed up in the folders, and upon the conductor's downbeat, Christmas carol chaos ensued. Let's just say the rest was painful music history. Also, as legend has it, 6-year-old future composer David Schaefer was in the audience that day. He would go on to a storied career as director of Miami University Marching Band and composer of over 400 works of music. One day, in 2004, having recalled being awed by the cacophony of sounds heard that fateful night in Saginaw, David was inspired to recreate the moment and wrote a piece called A Crazy Mixed Up Christmas Concert. Following the commercial success of that silly endeavor, he decided to see if he could cash in on the idea and proceeded to throw together another insipid mashup. What ensued or emerged from that was a crazy mixed up opera. So buckle up and prepare to hear this fun piece full of ranting recitatives and aimless arias from some of the most famous opera tunes of all time. Appalachian Spring, subtitled Ballet for Martha, was first performed in 1944. Anyone studying the history of dance will come across the name Martha Graham. Her incredible career spanned 60 years, and during her lifetime, contemporary dance evolved dramatically, in large part due to her contributions. She was a visionary who created her own movement language. Graham demonstrated that dance could be a serious art form that explored the depths of human emotion. Her successful conceptualization was to create art that came out of the American experience. One of Graham's most celebrated works, Appalachian Spring, explores the lives of a pioneer couple beginning a life together on the American frontier. The first performance was given by Graham and her ballet company, accompanied by a 13-piece instrumental ensemble. The success of the score inspired composer Aaron Copland to create a suite for full orchestra, omitting only a few passages that he felt were of interest only when choreographed. Martha Graham described the final moments of Appalachian Spring this way. The entire piece ends quite simply. It has the feeling of the town settling down for the night. The kind of thing that happens when one hears a call in the twilight, the voices of children in the distance, a dog barking, and then night. In the early 1900s, Ralph Vaughan Williams was known only as a composer of a few inconsequential songs. It was at that time, at the age of 30, that he became deeply involved in collecting folk songs. Believing that industrialization might cause music to be lost, he acted like an archaeologist, traveling the countryside, notating the songs he heard as he heard them sung by the people in the villages he visited. He eventually transcribed over 800 of them. In 1923, he composed our next selection, English Folk Song Suite. Now I would like to turn the mic over to Mr. Todd Schwaneke, the Classic Legacy Band president, for a special presentation.
This is our anniversary concert that we have every year in June, and we, as part of the Legacy Band, what we feel is one of the important parts is developing the youth, the high schoolers. Actually, at one time, the band was just high schoolers way back long ago, but we wanted to keep that in our roots. We're primarily adults now, but we like to bring up the youth, and I know each year we like to recognize those high school students that we have that are graduating with us. Last year, I know we had 8, and that was wonderful. This year, we don't have the quantity, but we definitely have the quality here. From Bay City Western, we'd like to honor Riley Kola. Could you stand up, please? Thank you. Also, as part of our group, and I'm sure if you looked in the program, you'll see a picture of our fine director, Mr. David Fitz there, and there's a write-up there on him showing about his musical background, which is quite a lot there. Dave actually started out as an instrumentalist. He chose a very good instrument too, as by the way, the clarinet, of course. But as would set the tone for the rest of his life, Dave soon did very well and mastered the clarinet, but he wasn't going to let that set. He had to take up another instrument, and of course, this is the way Dave would go. He took the most challenging one, at least that I can think of, is the bassoon. So Dave was always pursuing and has been considering for musical excellence and will not leave good and left just be okay. He's got to go for better on that, and he's pushed us here in that group that same mentality. But after Dave played that, he's played in many different ensembles as a bassoonist, but he soon in his life went on to teaching. He wanted to be able to share that gift with others. He started in Springport, which is down in Jackson County, and then later on, and for many years, over at Perry High School, which is in Shiawassee County. Now, if you're not familiar with those schools, yeah, that's not from this area, but they are smaller schools. However, they may not have had a lot of students. However, Dave produced with what he had. His band did very well, got many ones, and he did as well, if not better, than a lot of the other Class A schools in the area. One thing I wish I would have been able to hear, Dan, is your bands over the years there, Dave. But Dave has also conducted other groups, such as here in the Classic Legacy Band. Dave's been with us for 2 stints now, and this is his 8th year, I do believe, here with us. Besides doing his directing, he's done a lot of adjudicating over the years, doing solo and ensembles, helping develop the youth to critique them and to help them pursue their musical endeavors along the way, not just the small ensembles and soloists, but he's done band festivals, critiquing them for solo or the different band festivals around there, doing critiquing there. But what's not in the program, though, is one of Dave's other musical things he's done, is he's worked for Herder Music Company in Bay City, Michigan. Now, as I say, he worked for Herder Music in Bay City. Well, yes, Herder's is in Bay City, but Dave was rarely in Bay City. He was on the road a lot, traveled to many of the different area schools throughout all of mid-Michigan, helping with their musical instrument needs, but not just the student instruments. He would help a lot of the band directors, whether the first-year band directors or the well-experienced. They often would want to talk to Dave to get his musical expertise and advice along the way. Not only that for Herder, Dave was also very instrumental in the Herder Band Camp, which is developing the youth for the youngest ones in the crowds, like your 6th, 7th, 8th, maybe 9th graders that they have in there, and helping them to pursue their musical instruments and realize, too, there's more than playing an instrument just outside of high school. They can play in bands such as ours here once they do graduate. Matter of fact, our group under Dave last year played for the Herder Band Camp for the 2 different weeks that we're down there. So I know Dave, that was a special thrill for him to be able to do that for him. Now, with all that Dave has said and done, finally he decided to hang up his hat with Herders and retire. And I wish Dave all the happiness now being able to do whatever it is he so wants to do. I'm very happy you're retiring from her, but I'm even more happy that you're not retiring from this band here. My only fear, Dave, is now that you have extra time, you're going to have more time for score study and challenging us, but I think I can speak on behalf of the band. We're up to the challenge, and we welcome it. And Dave, on behalf of the Classic Legacy Band, and I would say all those in our audience, and all that you have touched over the years in all your musical endeavors, we wish you best for your new retired career.
You would be hard-pressed to find a musician who doesn't love the musical The Music Man. Written by Meredith Willson, the musical became a Broadway hit in 1957 and has enjoyed several revivals, as well as professional touring productions, community and high school productions, marching band productions, and many arrangements of the songs. The musical was most recently revived on Broadway in 2023, starring Hugh Jackman as Professor Harold Hill and Sutton Foster as Marion the Librarian. I'm only a little obsessed with Hugh Jackman and was able to secure Seventh Row Orchestra tickets to one of his performances in this role. I'm pretty sure he winked at me, but my friend who was with me says this is just my imagination. We're still debating this. Perhaps the most popular song from the show, 76 Trombones, is our last piece tonight. Although we don't have 76 trombones, or 110 cornets, or 1,000 reeds springing up like weeds, or 50 mountain cannon in the battery, I'm sure you're probably relieved. We do have horns of every shape and kind, and clarinets of every size. Will the trumpets improvise a full octave higher than the score? You will have to listen to find out.
this time we actually have another one for you. I don't need that. There are several things. I shared a story with these guys a few weeks ago that when I was teaching in Perry, we had something pretty special going on there. Band was up to 100 kids at the high school and 100 kids in the middle school. And they were playing pretty darn well. I stole an idea from one of my college band directors because my group, except for 1 year, one of my junior high bands didn't want to do what they were supposed to do in sight reading. So I let them take it on the chin. And it ruined their opportunity to go to state. So if you don't want to sing when we go through sight reading, then you know what? You're going to have to prove to me you can do this without going through it with my help. So they took it on the chin, but my high school band always got first division ratings. And so what I started to do is periodically I would pull a tune out and I'd stick it on the stand 2 or 3 days before the concert. And I would say, okay, here we go. We're going to run it once and then you're going to play it on Monday night. Well, thanks to Todd's wife back here, she ordered a piece called Curtain Call. And when I listened to the recording of it, after she told me about it, I went, oh, I have an idea. So here we are. We have run through this twice. You should know that these folks prepared this concert for you in 10 hours. 5 weeks of 2-hour rehearsals. Our longest rehearsal cycle is usually 8 weeks, and that's for like when I get crazy with the music. But we've only run this twice, so I think they'll pull it off, but we'll see. So if they don't, here we go. I'm going to look really foolish.